What makes Tears in Heaven such a great guitar riff? I want to explore this quickly with you. If you don't know the riff, I'll just play a bit of the start. So what makes this such an iconic riff? Obviously there's a very sad story behind it, but I just want to look at the musical content of this. So it's in the key of A major, and Eric Clapton uses the primary chords, and when I'm looking at classical music, I'm always looking for primary chords. He uses a lot of primary chords here, and it really shapes the whole riff. So the primary chords were in the key of A major. Primary chords are 1, 4, and 5. 1, 4, 5. So the 1 chord's A, the 4 chord is A, B, C, D, and the 5 chord is E. So if we play those, that's 1, that's 4, that's 5. So most of this riff, as you can see from the chords at the top, is made from these chords. A there's E, there's the only exception F sharp minor, and then the rest are primary chords. When we get to this point here, we get the first time we hear the 4 chord. That's where the tension of the riff starts to build up, and then we get a E sus 4 chord here, which also creates tension, and then we resolve back to A major. Let's have a listen to that and see how the harmony shapes the riff. So if I play from bar 4, you'll hear the D chord, and the E7 sus 4, and the resolution is quite classical. That kind of progression. So that really gives the riff a lot of shape. Then we have that little exception, the F sharp minor chord, and Eric Clapton emphasizes it by tying it over to the first beat of the next bar. So that gives a bit of emphasis to F sharp minor. That also foreshadows what comes later. The riff will change key, the song will change keys to F sharp minor, to that key. So we get A, and then F sharp minor there. If we jump ahead to the chorus, so this is where the song changes key to F sharp minor. Now here a couple of interesting things occur. In the first few measures, we get a chromatic movement in the bass and in the middle voice. And the chromatic movement will usually result in a very colorful harmonic effect. So we get F sharp minor, and then the F sharp and the A both move down a semitone or a fret, and then they do it again. That C sharp's just stayed static the whole time there. And then we go to F sharp major, or F sharp dominant 7th. That's the dominant of B minor. So we go to the dominant of B minor, that builds up a lot of tension too. B minor 7. And then that turns into E7 sus 4 again. And that takes us nicely back to A. Why is that? This is the dominant of A. That's why it takes us nicely to A. If you want to go to a new key, use the dominant of that key. That's what Eric Clapton does here. F sharp is the dominant of B minor. So he's changing keys. This is very, very typical of composers like Bach, for example. So I'll play this passage here, and dynamically what I want to try and do is start it really soft and actually pluck the strings up here at the fretboard, and then when it gets louder I'll bring my hand down to get a stronger sound where it changes key to B minor, and then when we resolve back to A we'll get a softer sound going through there. So that's how you can bring out the harmony. If you're aware of harmony, you can bring things out in your playing, in your tone, in your sound, whether you're playing a classical guitar or an electric guitar or a steel string, you can change the sound in order to paint a picture of the mood. So we start here, piano up at the fretboard. Hear that nice mysterious sound, and then open it up. Back to the sweet sound for A major. This song really mostly alternates between the verse and the chorus, and then we do have a bridge as well. The interesting thing about the bridge is that it changes key to the key of C major. So we get each section changes key. So if you're a songwriter, you might want to think about, well, how can I create different moods in my song? One of the strongest, most powerful ways to do that is to change keys for different sections, even within sections. If you have the ability to do that within a section, like Eric Clapton, he went to the key of B minor by using the dominant of B minor. If you're able to do that, I think your music will be more emotionally powerful. And this is what a lot of classical composers do. They are often changing, especially the great composers like Bach, they're changing keys frequently to bring out different moods in the piece. We as performers, interpreters of the music, need to try and be aware of that so we can bring it out in our playing, be really sensitive to it. Yeah, I thought that would be an interesting look at Tears in Heaven.